This is the Gerber Sedulo. It's a new EDC knife by Gerber Knives, sent to me by Gerber Knives after they saw my video of this, the Zilch knife that I bought for 20 bucks at REI. That's new for them, that I was really impressed with, am really impressed with. And I've stated in that video that this could be an excellent platform for Gerber to expand into nicer knives. Better blade steel, better handle material, but the rest of this setup is so nice. Excellent action, excellent ergonomics, excellent blade geometry and blade shape. Really a good EDC blade. So they sent me that. If you like the Zilch, you're gonna love this, is what was implied. And to be honest, I do. I really do like this knife. It's made in the United States, S30V steel, so they're stepping up their blade steel. S30, one of the first, if not the first, super steels out there, developed by Chris Reeve Knives and CPM Industries. Who are they? Crucible. Sorry, Crucible. I was glad I didn't have to cut and start this video over again. So a great blade steel. At this point, I know a lot of steel snobs might think, oh, that's out of date. But, you know, everything in due time. I think Gerber, as I've mentioned before on the show, they have some stuff to make up for, like SOG. They went through some dark days of cheesy designs and poor manufacturing and that kind of thing. But like SOG, they have rebranded and have begun to make different knives, interesting knives, better, much higher quality knives, like they did in the old days. I loved Gerber from an early age because my dad had a very stylized sort of 70s version that Gerber made of the Buck 110, and it was such a cool knife, and very well made, and made up in Oregon. And then, you know, in the 90s or 80s and 90s, I guess, they moved things overseas and got cheaper and cheaper. But they've been coming back progressively over the past few years. I think it started for me when they came out with the flat iron. I'll show that off in a minute, to show that they were interested in changing things up and going with some cooler designs. Well, now it's this design here is very kind of plain and very, you know, not extremely exciting in terms of, wow, that's a crazy design, but it's really exciting in that it is an excellent EDC knife. This S30V blade is very nicely fully flat ground. It's has a very even edge that I noticed when checking the centering. It's like, wow, that tip looks pretty good, pretty symmetrical. I opened it up and look at that edge, and it looks really nice. So well done on the edge. And great blade shape. It's almost a spear point. You know, it's just a drop point blade, but you've got the center point pretty much along the center line of the blade. And you've got a nice long straight here and an upward curving belly. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, almost 3.5 inches, or let's just call it 3.4 inches. A good blade length. And yes, it's got an axis lock, and the axis lock works great. This is a very fidgety knife, and if you like the fidget factor, this will give that to you. Speaking of the lock, it's very good. It's a very solid rendition of the axis lock first made popular by Benchmade. And since their patent run out, everyone has been using this lock because it's a great lock, and you've been getting very good. SOG has been doing it very well. Hogue has been doing it wonderfully. Benchmade has stepped up their game. Everyone is doing the axis lock, and I gotta say, Gerber's doing it very well. Now, I think due to the tang shape. Oh no. Okay, so this is not. So when I first got this, it was somewhat stiff, and I have been using it a lot for about 2 weeks. Kind of pushing it into every chore I can find, and it's been doing really well, but I've also been fidgeting with it, and it's getting smoother and smoother and smoother. Now, it doesn't drop shut like other axis locks you might have, yet, but it's still breaking in, and I believe it's on washers here. Actually, I have not taken this apart yet. Okay, so very good lock, very solid lockup, very solid. No up and down, no side to side, as it should be. Excellently shaped and profiled handle. The handle is very comfortable. I always like a little bit of a finger guard. You never know what you're going to be, if you're going to have to push through something or apply pressure forward. You like to have a little something to push against and also to guard your fingers from going up onto that blade. They offer a little bit of jimping there, coming up proud from the liners. That's a nice touch. Same thing up here. Very nice jimping on the back. This feels great. Totally out of the way if you don't need it, but if you need it, it's pretty nice there. There's your stop pin and your axis style lock, bar lock, we'll call it. This is FRN. It is a pretty, like a nicer feeling FRN than this. Who knows? It could be the same stuff. But FRN to me just feels cheap anymore. But it's very serviceable. It's great material. I have a lot of knives that I love that have GRN handles, to include my Delica and Endura, and also all of my cold steel Voyagers and other knives. So this is fine. This is great. Works fine. It's light. It's, it's solid, and it's tough. I got to admit though, this is nice enough that I would like to see this with micarta handles and a backspacer, or some sort of, since it's sort of contoured, some sort of layered G10 with different colors would look nice. But I understand, as a proof of concept, this is how they're coming out with it first, to kind of keep costs down, but present a very, very well-designed, competently designed knife that just kills it in the all-around EDC chore and carry profile. And this does. There we have a deep carry pocket clip with a sort of ramp there, like a chamfer, before you even hit the recess screws, just to ensure that your pants slide up over the clip nicely. I think that's an awesome touch. You see Gerber on the clip. It's a very nice clip, and I don't even mind that branding. It's just, as long as it's not like a black color or something like that. So deep carry. And then on the right side, they offer a little landing pad without any texturing under the clip. You don't get that on the left-hand side, but at least you get tapped metal collars there to screw your thing in if you want to switch it. Very nice little channel there to put your lanyard or fob if you like a lanyard, but those who don't, that's pretty inconspicuous, so it'll kind of melt away. A very nice standoff there. And then there is, so I talked about no blade play and how awesome this is. This has great fit. Very, very good fit, and pretty much good finish until you get to here. Right here on the butt cap on the pommel here, you can see these two plastic tabs sitting proud there on the end. You see those? You ever build a model airplane or a model car, and the plastic parts come attached to an armature of plastic, and you break it off that and you build your model. But before you build your model, you're supposed to shave that little piece of plastic off and sand it so that your model looks like a real model. It doesn't have little plastic studs sticking up everywhere. So this was no doubt manufactured in some way where these were a whole bunch of them coming off a plastic armature thing, and they just broke it off and made the knife, but they didn't sand that down or take care of that. That I don't like, but that is the biggest fault I see in this knife, I gotta say. Some people, I mean, to me, it looks like a Benchmade a little bit, but then I go to the Benchmade page, which Benchmade does it look like? And to me, it doesn't really, it's just, even with the axis lock covered, it kind of has and please don't take this the wrong way, Benchmade or Gerber, but it has just sort of a generic knife profile. Very, very extremely useful, ergonomic, comfortable, effective, great in hard use, and I have a video going up about that at the end of the week. So really, really good. Just a design that doesn't get my heart racing in a material combination that also doesn't get my heart racing. Though this gets my heart racing, made in USA, and S30V I'm psyched about. I am psyched about that. I have a lot of S30V that I love, knives. Handle material, this would be so cool in micarta, so cool. And it would take on all of your funk, and it would really, I don't know, this would be a nice one. Again, just like this knife, to put into better material, to make into better materials. But as a proof of concept, this is an awesome knife. And I say, Gerber, let's do it. Let's, just kidding. But I suggest you do that with this and this knife for sure. Make this in better materials, because these knives are worthy of better materials. And I think people will start to buy them. And by start to buy them, I mean knife aficionados, not just people who need a knife and want a good knife to use, but people who also really appreciate the looks and the feel and some of the finer points that us knife nerds dig. Okay, here's an example of the most famous and most selling Gerber knife these days, and it's an awful knife, I gotta say. I like this knife because a friend of my wife's gave it to me because it was my birthday, and he knows that I like knives. And I think that's great, and that's why I love this knife. It has sentimental value. But as a knife, these paraframes are not the best. I used to have the little one. I gave that away to a friend at work as a gift who was always asking me for a knife. But these things, you know, they're inexpensive, and they're just not that good. So a very, very stark contrast with this knife. That is very good. And this knife, that is very good. Here's the knife that I said was when I felt like Gerber was taking a turn for the better, and that is the flat iron. This is the first version of it. I think they changed the opening slot to make it a little bit easier to open, and they made a couple of other changes, I think, to this area. I think instead of a round over travel device, they put a plate like you'll find in my copper. Oh, where is it? Here it is. Like you'll find on the new copper gentleman's carry knife from Gerber. This one's pretty cool. I'm going to be doing a review on this one shortly. This one has grown on me. At first, I thought it had issues that a very short period of time having and using has rid me of those issues, but we will talk about that at a different time. This is the flat iron, very cool knife, I think. Has a nice, relatively thin hollow ground, razor style blade, and flat iron. It reminds me of the Flatiron Building in New York, and I think that's cool too. So there's that, and then the last one, this was a gift from my brother-in-law a couple years back. I don't even remember what this is called. I just had it, and it just escaped me. Don't get old, people. But also hollow ground. You'll see how uneven this grind is. Look, it's like up here, and then you go over there, and it's down a little bit lower. No big deal. It's an inexpensive knife. It's got bamboo on it, which is a nice touch. I love bamboo, except when it grows and lives. Other than that, I love bamboo. Interesting little knife. I can't remember what it's called. So yeah, those are the Gerbers. And let me just show you some other knives just for size comparison. Here it is with the ubiquitous size comparison knife, the PM2. Very similar in blade length to the new Gerber Sedulo. And let's see, here it is with the Shark Lock centric AD 20.5, so a little bit smaller, but similar in use. It's an EDC knife, and similar materials, though this FRN feels like an order of magnitude different, denser, I can't tell, but it feels different than this FRN, as it will. A couple more. Here are my Axis style locks. Here's the Hogue Mini RSK Mark 1. I absolutely adore this knife. So you have similar things here. So look, you've got contoured handle scales. What if Gerber got some of this kind of multi-layer G10 and did the same thing? It would be a very handsome addition to this lineup, no doubt. Also a great the great rendition of the bar lock in that. Here it is with my my bug out with the micarta scales. Again, the GRN on this very, very famous and excellent bug out felt cheap to me, and so I got the micarta, Putnam micarta handles on it, and that material change has made all the difference. This is also S30V, and ow, damn, and also nice and sharp. All right, one more, no, two more. Here it is with the drop. What's this called? TJ Schwartz designed and made by, oh my gosh, people, what is happening? You know, distributed by Drop, back when Drop was Drop, designed by TJ Schwartz, and made out in Utah by those fellas that, oh my God, why? They used to work at Chris Reeve Knives. You know who I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I'm having a total brain lock. It happens. Okay, here we go. AD10. It's the last one I wanted to show it with. General EDC, though this one is nice and big. All right, everybody. Thank you. Sorry for the brain locks here and there, but here it is. This is the Gerber Sedulo. I think it's an awesome new addition to their lineup. I think they are showing really great signs of becoming a knife guy's knife, and this is a good sign of that, and so is the Zilch. And I say go with these and continue with the excellent fit, or the excellent fit. Improve the finish a little bit, but that's no big deal. That's just a little CQ, and up the materials on this. And then here, I'd love to see this in some nice micarta in the future, but whatever, that's all personal preference. As a knife, as it stands, this is excellent, and I love that I can say that about Gerber, a company I've known about longer than any other folding knife company. All right, thanks for watching.